All right. So, oh,
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Can't
Good,
complain.
good. Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now, let's just jump right into it. So, you're running for state senator in Louisiana. I want to know what inspired you to run for this position.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm running for United States Senate, as a matter of fact. And the reason why I ran was because I got tired of people saying that young people aren't politically involved, aren't politically educated, don't care about politics. And I was teaching political science at Southern University, and it was funny teaching it and then seeing how my students felt. And I said, well, you know what? I have to walk it like I talk it. I really got to walk it like I was teaching it, and then now you got to actually walk it. So if my students didn't see someone that looked like them, that understood their experience and that they respected and that they could actually touch and see, then it's never real for them. It won't be real for them. And to see somebody that's young and their age doing it is also inspiring. And I know that our generation and the younger generation, they have to see it.
The research is not just knowing who this person is from what on paper, but their interests will tell you. What they write about will tell you what they're about. Their Facebook posts will tell you what they're about, what they're passionate about.
If they don't see it, then it's not real. So after that, just making sure that I did everything that I was supposed to do to make sure that I set the example and I set the standard.
And that makes a lot of sense. And like you're saying, if young people don't see it, it's almost like it's not attainable.
Right.
And you are young. So I want to know from you, what do you say to those people that say to you, you are super young. I don't think that you're ready for this position. What do you say to that?
Well, I say to them that Huey P. Long was 30 years old when he was United States Senator, and Huey P. Long was known as the Kingfish here in Louisiana. Not only was he United States Senator, but he was also governor. So to say that your age counts you out, well, here's someone that is 30 years old, that is well known and well respected in Louisiana for his political prowess, and he did it young. But also, I think that if people really got some background on me and what I've done in my life, that those concerns would be put at ease. So I started college at the age of 10. I started full time at 14. I graduated with my mechanical engineering degree at the age of 19. Um, right after graduating from college, I worked for the United States Navy as a weapons systems engineer. So yeah, I was launching missiles off the back of boats.
Did you get a better shot over there? Oh, we rocked. Dang it. Rock down, rock down, rock down. There it is.
So that was my job. I did that for about 5 years. Moved myself up into a supervisory position, and I was looking for the next challenge. And I started working for the NAACP while I was working as an engineer for the U.S. Navy. And the bug got put in my ear to go to law school. So I went to law school. I just learned when I was in the NAACP, I just learned how valuable it was to know the law and how to exercise the law. And after that point, went to law school and really kind of honed in on my passion for community justice. So when people say, well, you're young, when I tell them that I'm running for United States Senate, it really just goes over their head, goes through one ear and out the other because I'm so young. But the fact is the only rights you have are the ones that you exercise, and you just have to be 30 years old in order to run for United States Senate. So if you're going to say that young people aren't involved, young people aren't interested, and now you have someone that is interested and that is involved, just really take a step back and reevaluate what we truly believe.
And apparently you are somebody who's extremely ambitious to start college at 10, go full time at 14. You're no slouch. You're obviously putting in the work. You're doing what's necessary, and you're helping the community. And you were just talking about how you went to law school, and you are a public defender. I know we spoke a little while back, and juvenile public defender. So how do you think you can use this if you were to become U.S. Senate representing Louisiana? How could you use this to benefit the people in Louisiana and this country?
Well, it's about having a connection to the community, and having a connection to the problems of the community, and as well the problems, and having a connection to the community so that you can help solve the problems of the community. So if I understand that every voting adult was once a kid, right? I'm able to identify what are some of those things that happen in their early childhood or in their teenage life that disinterested them from politics, that disinterested from the things that literally control their lives, economics and politics. So by having that strong community connection of being able to say, hey, Senator Montgomery, we had this issue going on in Webster Parish or in Caddo Parish. Because of my community roots, because of my community advocacy and community justice background, having those connections to be able to bring real solutions at that time. As a United States Senator, I'm very limited in my power because I have to work with 537 other members of Congress in order to get something passed. Yet, what I do have is that position and that connection to the community where I can say I can make a phone call, I can bring awareness to various situations. So now we can actually get things done. So if I only look at my job as what I do in Washington and bringing in legislation and introducing legislation and hopefully getting it passed, that's missing out on the whole community connection that a senator can have and make sure that the people know that you're approachable and that you're accessible and that you're available.
Okay. Now, if you won the election, you'd be the first Black U.S. Senator for Louisiana. I want to know from you, why do you think there hasn't ever been one before?
Louisiana politics is a beast all in itself. Independents haven't won in Louisiana, and it has to do with old mindsets. Well, old mindsets keep you in the past. And Louisiana has a very, very deep history of not being inclusive. And we're starting to make strides there, but it also requires a mindset shift for the people of Louisiana. Louisiana isn't a poor state, it's a rich state. It's just managed in a way where only a select few get to reap the benefits. So for me, when I look at Louisiana's history, I see the opportunities. Because there hasn't been a Black senator, there's an opportunity to have one. Because there hasn't been true representation that truly represents the entire population, now Louisiana has that opportunity. So a lot of it has to do with Louisiana's history. But if we focus on our history, we won't see the opportunities for the future that's ahead of us.
So I know we spoke a little bit about your law degree, how you're practicing as a juvenile public defender, how you're ambitious and what you've done over the course of your life. But what is that one thing you would say sets you completely apart from your predecessors if you were to win?
One thing, I'm authentic and I'm connected with the community.
Okay.
That's where my roots, that's where I got my roots. That's where I got my roots and that's where I got my start. And I recognize that I'm accountable to the people. I'm not going to Washington to join a club. I'm going into Washington to bring real results for the people. The people aren't electing me just to go in there just to introduce legislation. If I go in there doing the same thing that's always been done, then we'll continue getting the thing that we've always been getting. And Louisiana could really be the model for the nation. But it takes bold people who have heart, and people who are connected with the community, that are connected with the people, to bring about the solutions that really matter. Not the solutions that matter to corporations, not the solutions that matter to special interest groups, but solutions that benefit Louisiana. We are on the bottom of the list for education, for economy, for criminal justice, and for opportunity. At best, we rank 45th. Some places we rank 48th. In other places, we rank 47th. We can be a model if we take that as an opportunity to grow. And because of my roots, because of my background, because of the things that I've experienced, I'm able to take that into consideration and help craft solutions with everyone who wants to be involved.
So you just mentioned a few issues that Louisiana is seeing and how it's ranking pretty much at the bottom in some of those areas like criminal reform. So what are the things, or what's the one thing on your agenda to change if you were to become U.S. Senator?
Ending juvenile incarceration.
Okay. And why? Why is that so important over anything else?
Well, if you start with those that are considered the youngest of us and the most vulnerable of us, and then also those that have been forgotten or discarded, now you can change your society. So currently right now in our juvenile incarceration system, in our juvenile system, we have our kids in orange jumpsuits. Right? The goal of the juvenile system is supposed to be rehabilitation. But when you look at them, they look like mini criminals, right? They look just like the same thing. So now, by focusing on the juveniles, by focusing on the ones that need the most attention, you're now able to help uplift your society, because those are the least of these, you're able to uplift them, and you're able to uplift everyone else above that.
Now, you mentioned throughout this discussion how it's important to be authentic. It's important to be connected to the community. And it is. A lot of people, for example, are upset with, we'll mention Joe Biden, and how they haven't seen much of him. Yes, there is a pandemic happening, but if you're running for the Oval Office, then you still need to be seen. It's important that you have that connection. You can't rely on what you did for 8 years when you were under, President Obama or whatever, whoever it is. But when it comes to you, I want to hear your opinion on the recent events that have taken place across the country. You would be the first U.S. Black senator representing Louisiana. So, of course, the pressure would be on you as a Black man to help the Black community. And we've seen throughout the country, just in recent weeks, police brutality that has taken place most recently. Earlier this week, there was a man who was killed by a Minneapolis police officer in a similar way that Eric Garner was. And so I'd like to know from you, what are your thoughts on these events, and how would you go about handling them if they were to take place in your own state?
Well, we did have a situation similar to that. Alton Sterling was in Baton Rouge. In fact, when Alton Sterling was killed, I got a lot of phone calls because of my community justice background. Everyone thought that I was in Baton Rouge. And was involved, but I was actually working in D.C. at the time. As a United States Senator, I belong to the people of Louisiana. I don't just belong to Black people. I represent the state of Louisiana. And if you allow it to happen to one group of people, then you give people who are powerful, you give them the authority to do it to you. So if you don't address that problem, if you don't speak out about that problem, what it is you're giving powerful people license to continue doing injustice. And if injustice is done to one person, it's capable of being done to all people. So it's focusing on making sure that, hey, when you have an incident like what happened in Minneapolis, like what happened with Ahmaud Arbery, like what happened with Alton Sterling, like what happened with Eric Garner, and you do not have your representatives speaking out against it, then what you're saying is that instead of doing what's right, I'm doing what's politically expedient. I'm doing what's considered politically safe. And right now is not the time for not telling the truth. Today is the day to start telling the truth. Today is the day to do and say what's right. That's having integrity. When telling the truth and saying the right thing and doing the right thing even when it hurts and when it's uncomfortable. That's what this is about. It's not just about running for a position. It's not about that, because leadership isn't about the position you have. It's about the service that you provide. And this just allows me, running for United States Senate allows me to continue the work that I've been doing of advocating for the community. In fact, I'll give you an example. One that I was definitely involved in was Victor White III, who was killed in the back seat of a police car in Iberia, in New Iberia, Louisiana. There's YouTube footage of me speaking at a rally condemning the actions of the police officers and the actions of law enforcement. So I think that during this time, you have to take risks. You have to take risks, and you're taking risks to do the right thing. And anytime that you take a risk to do the right thing, yeah, you'll pay the price for it, but you'll be able to go to sleep at night. You'll know that you did the right thing, and that's what's most important.
And the people that you represent will respect you even more for it, and will be thankful that they have leadership in place that's looking out for their best interests, no matter what community is a victim of whatever. People want to know that the person they voted for is really in their corner. All right, well, that concludes the questions I had for you. Is there anything else that you want to add to this?
Yes. Please visit www.docmontgomeryfor2020.com. I'm also on Instagram, Doc Montgomery 2020. I'm also on Facebook, Jamar Doc Montgomery for Louisiana. So that's all my social media plugs. Doc Monty, DOCMONTY for 2020 on Twitter. Come find out about us. Come find out about me. Check out my YouTube videos. Check out my videos, and you'll see what I'm about.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Doc. I really appreciate this, and I wish you well. I'm excited to see what happens.
Thank you.
When do you exactly find out? Once voting is over, how long does it take for you to find out you won?
Doesn't take long.
No,
it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long because right after you either preparing for the runoff election in December 5th.
Okay. All right. Well, man, I hope you get it. We need people like you. We need people that look like you, people who have the mind you have, who are young, because there are so many people, as you know, that are in your position. They're old, they're aging. They have these mindsets from the past that don't really correlate to what we need right now to continue to progress and move forward in this lifetime. But thank you so much for this time. I'm going to probably get this up sometime this week. I will keep you posted. But thanks again, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you, Ashley.
You are welcome. Bye, man.
All right, take care.